There are certain places in this world where evil seems to linger, where the veil between the living and the dead is so thin that it can be felt, touched even by those who do not believe. One such place is the small town of White River in the state of Arkansas. The year was 1897, and the people of White River were no strangers to tragedy. The river that had given the town its name had also taken much from it, claiming lives with its fierce currents and unpredictable floods. But the townspeople had always managed to pull through, drawing strength from their deep faith and tight-knit community. That is, until the spring of 1897, when the river did something it had never done before. It took everything. It began with the disappearance of two fishermen. They were brothers named Charlie and Will Atkinson. Every day they would take their boat out onto the river and catch fishes for their livelihood, their lines sinking into the dark depths, while their boat bobbed gently on the surface. But one night they did not return. When their families failed to see them at the usual spot on the bank at dusk, they raised the alarm. A search party was quickly organized, but by the time their boat was found, it was too late. The river had claimed its victims, or so everyone assumed. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the searchers' hopes began to dwindle. The river had been searched high and low, but there was no sign of the missing men. Their families were distraught, their friends angry, and the whole town was deeply saddened. Then in the fall, when the leaves were turning and the air was getting colder, the river gave back what it had taken. On a day much like any other, group of fishermen set out onto the river, when suddenly one of them, young Tom Johnson, noticed something floating in the water. At first he thought it was a log, but as he got closer, he realized it was a piece of clothing, a man's shirt, to be exact. And as the current shifted, a face became visible, a face that was pale and lifeless, eyes staring blankly ahead. Young Tom quickly rowed back to shore, his heart pounding in his chest, and the image of the dead man imprinted on his mind. The news of the discovery spread like wildfire, and soon the entire town was gathered on the riverbank, staring out at the water, waiting for answers. But the river was not ready to give them up. That is, days turned into weeks, and more bodies were found. All men, all missing from their boats, their clothes torn and their faces drained of color. The townspeople were terrified. What was happening to the fishermen? Was it the work of a river monster or something? Had the river claimed them for some unknown reason? As the body count rose, so did the fear. People stopped going out onto the river, even during the day. The once bustling port became a ghost town. The only sounds, the mournful cry of the gulls and the lapping of the water against the empty docks. The river seemed to be taunting them, taking more and giving back little. Soon an official investigation was launched, led by Sheriff John Tucker and his police team. They rode deep into the cursed waters, unaware of what was waiting below. Suddenly, the water erupted. A monstrous head rose, eyes glowing, teeth like jagged stone. The officers tried to contact their control room, but before they could, the monster attacked. Blood stained the river. The police were torn apart. By dawn, their boat was found, covered in blood. Only shredded uniforms remained, but one man survived. Barely breathing, he crawled back to town. He told the townsfolk, "The White River monster is real. It killed them all." Armed with weapons, a larger police force returned to hunt the beast. They attacked with everything they had, but the monster was unstoppable. It ripped men apart, dragging bodies beneath the waves. The survivors fled. The cursed river was abandoned forever. Some say, if you stand by the White River at night, you can still hear the screams.